Good morning. I want to begin by thanking Cheryl and Andrew for their contributions to this worship service. We find the prophet Ezekiel. This morning we find him in a place of death among a people without hope. To set the context, Ezekiel is writing during the Babylonian captivity. In 586 BC, the people of Israel are forced into captivity by the Babylonians. The city of Jerusalem behind them lays in ruins. The temple, the sign of God's presence among God's people, is destroyed. All but the very poorest were herded off as slaves to Babylon, where they became foreigners in a foreign land. It was despair upon despair upon despair. These are people no longer alive in spirit or hope. That's what is missing, hope. But as it is in God's story, this is not the last word. Despair is not the last word. A vision is given to Ezekiel, and it unfolds in this amazing way. In a dream, a vision is a good place to start with hope. It's hard to have hope if you don't have a dream. And without hope, it is hard to keep going. For Ezekiel, it all starts with a dream, with a vision. But even a dream is not enough. You have to believe that the dream is possible. It's at least achievable. So God asks Ezekiel, "Son of man, can these bones live?" In a sense, God is asking Ezekiel, is there another possibility? The bones are doing what bones do. They're lying there on the ground. Do you think there's a chance? Do you have any vision as to what else they could do, what else they could be? I'm sure you know people, we all know people who choose to accept the way things are, even if they're bad. They choose what is familiar, even if it's not good, over the possibility of something better. Possibly they don't believe that the situation can ever change. Sometimes I think it's because they think they cannot change. You need to have a dream, and it has to be possible, or you have to at least believe that it's possible. But having a dream and believing it is possible is still not enough. You have to have some investment in it. So God gives Ezekiel a task. Prophesy to these bones. Pray for the Spirit of God. God invites Ezekiel to get personally invested in this vision. In a sense, he's saying you can't live off somebody else's vision, and you can't live off a vision of the past. You have to have your own. And it's not this, Ezekiel, words and his experience is not simply about human hoping. It's not just about our own dreams of life. It's about changing the world. Admittedly, we have on our own, we have limited resources for that. But this is also a story about God's dream for God's people and this world. And it is a story about God's promise to fulfill that dream, to be part of the experience of getting that dream realized. It is about a God who promises to act. It is about a God who loved Israel so much that this God was not going to let them go. In this story, it's not just about what Ezekiel will do. It's also about what the Spirit of God will do with Ezekiel. There's a story of a school teacher who was assigned to visit children in a large city hospital and help them to fall not too far behind in their work if their stay was extended in the hospital. This teacher received a routine call requesting that she visit a particular child. The teacher took the boy's name and room number and was told by the teacher on the other end of the line, we're studying nouns and adverbs in the class right now. I'd be grateful if you would help him with his homework so that he wouldn't fall too far behind. It wasn't until the visiting teacher got outside the boy's room that she realized it was located in the hospital's burn unit. No one had prepared her to find a young boy horribly burned and in great pain. The teacher felt that she couldn't just turn around and walk out, so she stammered awkwardly, I'm the hospital teacher, and your teacher sent me to help you with nouns and adverbs. The child was in so much pain, he barely responded. The young teacher stumbled through the lesson, somewhat ashamed of putting him through such a senseless exercise. The next morning, the nurse on the burn unit asked her, what did you do to that boy? The teacher started to apologize. The nurse interrupted her. No, you don't understand. We've been worried about him. But since you were here yesterday, his whole attitude has changed. He's fighting back. He's responding to treatment. It's as if he's decided to live. Months later, the boy explained. He had completely given up hope until the teacher came. It changed because of this simple realization. The boy said they wouldn't send a teacher to work on nouns and adverbs with a boy who was dying, would they? Jesus wouldn't come back to the very same disciples who had abandoned him if there wasn't hope for them. Jesus wouldn't commission them to go out into the world and take that good news to the world if there weren't hope for that world. God wouldn't send his son to die on the cross if there wasn't hope for this world right now. Amen. Be at peace.